Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. In today's episode, I'm going to be bringing to you the best dinos to tame on the centre. Now please note that I'm limiting this to dinos you can actually find on the centre. I'm not doing dinos that you can bring over from other maps. They'll be for the other maps. This is just what's tameable on this map. I've already done the island and Ragnarok, so feel free to go check that out on my channel if you want to. And as always guys, thank you so much for the continued support, and I'll say it every time, but it's honestly amazing. I'm going to continue to bring as many guides out as possible. When Genesis 2 comes out, we're going to be having guides for that. When Arc 2 comes out, I'm hoping that this is the channel to go to when you need help with something. But anyways, that's enough of me yakking. Let's get into the video. Number 1. To start this list off, we've got the Thylakoid. Now these guys are great for maps like the centre, because despite being a strong dino in general, they can climb vertical walls and tackle rough terrain with ease. And the centre has a lot of terrain like this, especially around the middle, so a Thylakoid can come in very handy. These guys also don't take much fall damage, which is always a good trait to have. On top of this, these guys are also great for running caves, especially ones that you can't use a flyer in. These guys will outrun or jump over most of the dangerous dinos you need to tackle, and even if not, you've always got that option to climb up walls and get away. They're also great for these caves because they can reach areas that other dinos may not be able to, as well as using their climbing ability to take shortcuts along the way. Number 2. For our second spot on this list, of course we've got the Megatherium. We all know what these guys are all about already. Despite being one of the cutest looking things in the game, these guys will get a huge damage buff when they start killing bugs. Now obviously that makes them extremely strong, but also the centre has two bosses, the Megapithecus and the Broodmother. And funnily enough, the Broodmother is a bug, albeit a damn big one. This makes taking down one of the bosses on the centre extremely easy with just a few bred and imprinted Megatherium, making the farm for element pretty easy. Remember, they'll also never fail to get you all the chitin you'll ever need. Number 3. The centre is home to vast oceans spanning across big areas of the map. Because of that reason alone, we need a fast flyer. Now, the centre doesn't have griffins or wyverns, which is why for this list we've added the Pteranodon. Let me just say, if you can go onto other maps, get yourself a griffin or a wyvern. The centre is a pretty big map, and you'll get around it a lot quicker if you're not on a Pteranodon. But, as we're doing dinos to tame on the centre, the Pteranodon is your best bet for a flyer. And they do have certain advantages over the more fierce predators of the air. These guys are a lot more agile, and they obviously have saddles, whereas griffins and wyverns won't. And the centre has a lot of areas where people could have bases that you might not see, like behind big waterfalls for example. So with a Pteranodon you could be a lot more agile and just peek in and out of waterfalls. This gives you less of a chance to be shot. As well as that, if you've got good saddles, it gives you a better chance of survival if you do get shot. Around the centre of the centre, there's also a lot of dense forests. And the same applies, you could be a lot more agile. You can also use the size of the Pteranodon as your advantage flying through these, say you need to get away from something. I guess my point is, although they're not the fastest or the strongest, you'll do just fine with a Pteranodon on the centre. Number 4. I've just commented on the vast oceans they have in the centre, so it would be stupid not to add a dino for that. When it comes to the ocean on Ark in general, you're kind of spoilt for choice for dinos. You have the Thylakoid, the Mosasaurus, the Basilosaurus. These guys are all great contenders. For the centre however, I've chosen the Thylakoid because a good leveled one will destroy anything in the ocean, and in my personal experiences, I find on the centre I come across a lot of Alpha Tusos, and sometimes even a good leveled Mosa can struggle to take out an Alpha Tuso if it grabs hold of you. Personally, in the ocean, I feel safest on a Thylakoid. Plus, again, they look sick. The centre's not the best map for black pearls, so you're going to have to venture into the ocean. You can hunt your Eurypterids, but if you want to farm black pearls more efficiently, you might have to hunt some Thylakoid or alphas, so make sure you got yourself a strong enough swimmer so that it can handle that. Number 5. When it comes to base spots on the centre, there are loads of them. The centre is home to some of the best caves on the game, but due to the map's layout, there's also some really good spots along the southern wall and all up the western side of the map where there's the cliff face. Because of this, a lot of these places can only be raided with a Quetzal. You can use your Quetzal with hatch trains and trapdoors to try and get close to the base to raid it. You can also use it to carry your soaker up to start soaking the base. It doesn't matter how you decide to use your Quetzal, but for a lot of these spots, you will need one. A lot of these are very hard to get at in any other way. Number 6. The centre, for some reason, is one of the best maps for finding high level dinos. Now the volcano island at the north of the map with the red obelisk is an island purely dedicated for pretty much Gigas, Rexes, Carnos, Spinos and Raptors. The dino I'm recommending here is the Rex. If you want to progress on a PvP server on the centre, Rexes should be one of your biggest priority. That's because they're one of, if not the best thing, for taking out the Megapithecus. The Megapithecus is very strong, so you're going to need quite a lot of Rexes. It's best to try and get some high levels as soon as you can, so you can get breeding them, so that as soon as you're ready to take on boss fights, you've already got the Rexes there ready to go. Some good leveled Rexes together can have an insanely high amount of damage output. So if you want to progress well on the centre, go get yourself some Rexes. Number 7. Let's talk titles. As I'm sure you guys will know, Carbon Emmys are some of the best soakers on this game, due to their damage reduction and small size. Now, we've already spoke about some of the best caves to build in on the centre, but a lot of these caves will have narrow entrances or maybe crouch spots, and often the only situation we can get something into soak is by using the Carbon Emmys. So once you've got your base up and secure, whilst you're on your Ark adventures, if you see a high level Carbon Emmys, tame it, see how good its health is. Once you've got some really good health ones, start breeding them, because if you can get them in the right position, you'll be amazed at what a few Carbon Emmys can do to someone's base. Number 8. For the number 8 spot on this list, we have the Uteanus. Now, the Hairy Rex is a great all-round dino, and you should always have one in my opinion. They're pretty fast for a big dino. They're also pretty strong, but the main use for these guys are for the different type of roars they have. So they do have a roar that will make some smaller predators run and hide in terror, but the roar these guys are used for will actually increase the output of your dinos by 25% and reduce the damage they take by 20%. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, that makes a huge difference against boss fights, and it means you can do it with a lot less dinos. Also take note of that 20% damage reduction. That means you can also use these guys to help when raiding people, because your soakers will take 20% less damage, and therefore making raids faster and easier. That's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I really hope it's helped some of you out. If it has helped you out and you're new around here, please consider subscribing. It's a nice place to be. My Quick Guides playlist also has over 50 videos on now, and I'm trying to keep building that up so that we have a guide for absolutely everything on this game. So feel free to go check that out if you haven't already. But for now, this has been the best dinos to tame on the centre. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.